Here is how to do a basic knit stitch. There's more than one way that you can hold your yarn, and it depends whether you hold your yarn in your right or left hand. So when you hold your yarn in your right hand, it's called knitting English style, right-handed knitting, and it usually is a little bit easier to learn, but it is slower once you've learned it. I'm going to show you that way first. It's a little bit easier, but it's a little bit slower. The first thing to do is, looking at your cast-on project, you need to make sure that the yarn that you're going to work with, the yarn that goes back to the ball, is coming down from the bottom and the front of the needle. So there's 2 legs on every stitch, one wrapped around, one from the front of the needle and one from the back. You want to make sure that the yarn's coming off the front and pointed down. Now you're going to take your other empty needle in your right hand, and you're going to put that needle through the front leg from left to right. Use your other hand to pinch those 2 ends together so that they don't slide around. Now you're going to, in your right hand, take the yarn that's going back to the yarn ball and wrap it away from you around that right hand needle tip. Now keep that yarn pinched in your fingers in whatever way keeps it a little bit snug but not super tight. Now you have your needle going through the leg of the first stitch, and you have a new loop of yarn looped around it. So you're going to use that tip of the needle and drag it backwards so that you can pull that new loop of yarn that you made through that opening where you put the needle. Now you've made a new stitch, so the old stitch that you knitted into can just be slid off the left hand needle. Slide it off. That's one whole stitch. So again, you're going to put your needle tip through the front leg from left to right. Then you're going to wrap the yarn with your right hand around that needle tip. Holding it snug, you're going to drag that new loop of yarn you made backwards through the hole where you put the needle tip and up. That's another stitch. Now you're going to slide the first stitch that you knit into, you're going to slide that off the needle tip. Again, through the front, wrap that yarn around. Now use that needle tip to drag that new stitch through the hole towards you and slide it off. Again, through the front leg from left to right, wrap the yarn around that needle tip and pull it towards you. When you have made some knit stitches and you look at them closely, you will see that they are kind of flat on this side. But if you turn around your work, you will see that the yarn, the new loop that you wrapped around, will make a bump on the other side. So the flat side is usually called the right side, and the bumpy side is usually called the wrong side. But also you can make these bumps on the side that you were working on by doing the other kind of stitch, which is called a purl stitch. We're going to do that in another video.